Hello friends and welcome to this week's sketchbook tour. I'll start out with a shout out this week. Casey sent me this beautiful pack and I've been carrying it around all week with me. I did quite a few pages and it was because I had this ready to go at all times. So I just want to thank her because the pattern is giving Atlantis, it's giving mermaid vibes, and it's really inspiring me. We're gonna get started opening up to chapter 3. You know, she's fighting this monster that has returned. There's some notes about what's kind of inspired by. This is like a little, this is one of my favorite illustrations that I did for like the planning. No one can help you except yourself. That's a fact of mental illness, I think. But well, let me clarify. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get help and that you shouldn't reach out to people, because you absolutely have to if you want to get better. But ultimately, it's like a journey between you and yourself, I think, like even with help. So she's fighting this monster, beats it, goes to bed. It comes back bigger and angrier than before. And this is about resisting your anxiety. So I hate my anxiety. I really dislike it. It's, you know, in many ways ruined my life over the last couple of years. And the approach I was taking to get through it was I hate it and I need to get rid of it. And I just want to go back to the way it was before. And like, why is this even happening? That's been really like my approach. And when you do that, when you approach anxiety or mental illness that way, it just persists even stronger. The idea is to learn how to live with it rather than just wish it would go away, which if that worked, I wouldn't have it anymore. So the next few pages are still in progress, and I have a note here that says if I want to get over my anxiety, I have to stop trying to murder it and shrink it down and live with it instead. So it's going to follow you around. It's going to get bigger if you fight it. So you're just going to shrink it down, carry it around. Okay? So she's carrying it around. At this point, we want to leave Atlantis, but we're not really sure how to get out. We know that we can use the necklace to like transport to different places. So she's got the necklace on. In the past, jumping has worked to escape these realms. Like, that's less to do with like suicidal ideation and unaliving yourself jumping. It's more to do with this idea that in your life, if you take really big leaps, it's kind of like that leap and the net will appear quote. So she's taking a leap here. Again, these are unfinished. I just started them, so I added the color last night. She's jumping off the bridge, landing in the water, knocks unconscious, as is a popular theme in this. And then she gets saved by the anxiety monster, who will take her out of there. Her hands are really messed up, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to zoom back out. And we find ourselves back in the original apartment, the one that I no longer live in. I'm just going to let Luna outside. But it's kind of like, oh, I'm back here. Atlantis was better. But the difference is this time they're actually moving, so based on a true story. And these next two illustrations, I will first show how I used the perspective paper that Casey gave me to do these, and that it's changing my life and changing my illustrations. Normally when you do these kind of illustrations, you either going to use your mind's eye or you're going to draw a perspective grid. So you have to draw a perspective grid and then erase it, and it's a lot of layers to the illustration, which like this paper can't really, it's very, very thin. So I use these. Game changer and helping me understand perspective in a way that I didn't before, which is really great, and I'm loving it. So this is the sketches. Now I really want to show you the black and white versions of the next two pages because I absolutely loved them in pen and ink illustrations, and I put them in my coloring book already, so I'll put them up here so you can see what they look like. You can always pause if you want to hold for longer, but I absolutely love them. This is what it was like for me to move into my apartment, my bedroom, because all my stuff from my apartment had been moved from my one bedroom, which was quite spacious, into one single bedroom. So it took up a lot of space. It was like mattress on the floor, boxes stacked up really, really high. And I basically didn't move in for 3 days because I didn't want to deal with it. So this is my first night there. This was really nice. I had a little box of letters that some friends had sent me. Obviously I was going through a really hard time, and some of my friends sent me some cards, and I put them in a box for like my first night box. I had some snacks. This is Junior Mints. If you don't know, this is like, I think it's only North American. I couldn't find it when I was in Europe, but it's basically a chocolate enrobed mint jelly. That's how I would describe Junior Mints, and it's like a movie snack, and it's very comforting. So I had that, and I journal and stuff like that, and little notes for myself, and some like sensory rings and things like that. So we have the gang all here. We have Red Panda, the Beans, and the Anxiety Guy. Yeah, you can have a look, and you can pause if you want to see more. This next page is why we're all here today. This was the best time because I had moved out of that place that I've never had like problems moving or getting a job like I have in Montreal. So like just basic life stuff has become almost it felt insurmountable for me to find a place, which was actually kind of scary because I was in such a bad situation. And so getting out of that situation, even if it wasn't in my ideal situation, I was still so happy that I could get out because there was a part of me that was like, I'm never getting out of here. But it really just felt like that sometimes. And then being here, unpacking, getting rid of a lot of stuff too, and like just I do like living in smaller spaces. Like I lived in a studio for 3 years, and I just like the smaller space. So having all my stuff in a room just makes me feel so much better. I think that's why I liked living out of a backpack so much. I loved having like all my stuff in one small space. Yeah, it made me feel very free actually. And this illustration is my favorite. So, oh wait, I have to tell you, these are not done. Okay. Now I'm gonna go around and point out everything that's in here that's from the comic book. We have the Anxiety Guy, the kimono from the Japan visit. That's one of the comic books from the comic book store. This is the panda that I have right here. Got that from the Botanical Gardens here in Montreal, and I'm obsessed with the Botanical Gardens and the Lantern Festival in the fall. So that means a lot to me actually. So when I first developed agoraphobia, that was one of my challenges, was to go to Botanical Gardens, and it was like kind of tough, but it was one of the first times I felt like I was starting to come out of it a little bit. And I had never been to that part, and it was the Chinese gardens, and it didn't feel like I was in Montreal, which because I've felt so trapped here over the last few years, it really helped me remember what it's like to travel and how happy and free I am when I travel. I'm sure you feel the same way, and so that was really nice. It was like kind of symbolic for me to have this panda. We have the red fox and red panda, red fox, 2 cats, and there's Samir. They also are some books from earlier in the comic book. So I have The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings because I just rewatched The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings last week, and so I was like really in that world. This is the candle from the first part of the comic, where she's walking around with the candle all the time. I have a pigeon postcard from Kira, who's one of my patrons on here. I have a little goal that says that my goals are to finish the comic book and world domination. And then I have a map, that map from the comic book, the when she's in the forest. I have some of my actual plants out there, the Comic-Con poster from the comic shop. So there's all these little things kind of hidden. We also have the amulet here, and this bird statue that we've seen over the comic a few times, which is also the same bird that kind of, let's go back, this bird here, which tends to shrink down into a little statuette. So the big feat for the next couple weeks is coloring this page. I'm going to bring lots of light in, which is really hard for me to color light, but a good challenge, and already uploaded into the coloring book. I'm either going to end chapter 3 here, depending on how long it takes me to color these pages, and then we're going to start chapter 4, which is the last chapter. It's the fall, and I do have a little plan. Plan is to show, like, I have my little, like, life in Outremont, and I wanted to show that a little bit. As much as I love summer, and this felt like the shortest summer of my life, I love the energy of fall a lot. I love the cooler weather. I don't like what comes after fall, so it can be a little bittersweet. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy this as much as I did. I was really excited to show you these 2 pages all week. Like, I sat down last night and colored this for like 4 hours. Like, colored these pages for like 4 hours. I wanted to get something done to show you. And I really like where it's going. I actually like the idea of revisiting some places. Like, maybe we go back to Atlantis, or maybe we go back to the forest. But let me know what you think, or if you just want to go somewhere new. And like my life, I have no idea where this goes next. So far, it's taken us places that I wasn't expecting, so I'm sure that that will continue. I hope you have a really nice couple weeks, and I will see you in a couple weeks, but also usually I see you around on social media. I am going to show you the new sticker that you'll be getting in October. These are the Panda Pals. They are sleepy pandas that I drew in 2016 from my art journal when I had just started drawing again after like a 10-year hiatus. So these are coming your way, and that's for Creative Care Pack patrons in October. All right, thank you. I love you so much, and I hope you really have the best couple weeks.